Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. Now, if you hear a little echo, it's because I am filming this on hardwood floors. I do have a blanket down, but sometimes that doesn't help, but this will only be for this portion of the video as well as when I'm putting my products back into these drawers you see here, so that's the only time you'll be hearing this kind of more echo. So I first want to start with my recap. Now, we have first over here in this first little drawer, we have my Milani eyeshadow primer and my Danessa Myricks blurring balm powder. I keep both of them in there at all times. And then next we have the Laura Geller brow, I think it's like the Sculpt and Stay brow pencil. I'm going to be leaving that in here until I can get an empty on that. I'm so close to being able to finish that product and I just want it to kind of go out of my collection. It's a good product, but I don't like the gel on the other side. I wish they sold the brow pencil separate because for me the gel goes to waste and I hate doing that, but I just don't like it. It does nothing for my brows. And then I have the Refi Brow Sculpt. I will be removing that and picking out a different brow gel. Okay, and then in the next one you see here, we have the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum, which I just have like a little points reward from Sephora, which I have really been enjoying that. I definitely plan on purchasing the full size when the Sephora sale comes up, which will actually be this coming Friday. And then I have the Cali Ray Corrector in the shade Pale Sun, and then I have the Say Concealer. I will be keeping the Danessa Myricks Primer in there, but the rest of the products will be removed. And then over here I had 3 lip pencils. I had 2 from Kosas and then one of the Rare Beauty ones. And then I had one of the Hard Candy Glosstopias, one of the Westman Atelier lipsticks, and a Rare Beauty lipstick. I will be removing all of those and picking out completely new lip products. I want to say I also had some products in there for last month for Tower 28 as well, but I don't keep Tower 28 in any of these drawers. They have a separate makeup bag and I keep all of them over there, so I will be taking all of these out and we'll be picking some new ones. And then in the little drawer you see here, I keep all of my mascaras in there as well as eyeliners. I've kind of neglected the eyeliners again. I just can't make myself use eyeliners. I don't know why. It's just a step that I don't think about or I just completely ignore. I don't know, but I try to leave them in here so I can see them, but clearly it does not help. But I leave all of these in here at the same time. I do have 2 mascaras right in here that haven't been opened yet. They were like little points rewards. So once I finish up some of these over here, which I want to say 2 of these will soon be having to be let go because they are soon at their expiration date. So once that happens, I will be opening those 2 other ones. So I like to leave them in there all the time. And then over here I had 2 powders in there. I had the Rare Beauty loose powder, which I did end up getting an empty on, and then I had the Kosas pressed powder. I removed the Kosas pressed powder from my collection and I am exclusively using that as dry shampoo. I mentioned many times, I don't know if you actually can use powders that way. I only use them on the day I'm gonna wash my hair, so the powders are not sitting on my scalp for days at a time. I only apply it on the day I'm washing my hair, so I just wanted to put that out there. I also forgot to mention that I did have the Ilia, like the serum foundation. They have the one with the little dropper. I did remove that from my collection as well, and I am exclusively using that one as an SPF for my chest. I love to walk every single day, and because it's been a lot warmer and the sun has been out, I've been wearing tank tops when I go outside, and I just like to have an SPF on my chest and my shoulders at least, and that's the one I've been using for that. I just kind of want to work it out of my collection before it expires, and it was a little bit too deep for my face, and at first I thought it was causing me some irritation, but I've been wearing it on my chest quite a lot for this past month and I haven't had any irritation, so I think that day my face was just really overly sensitive. So right in here as well with the blushes, I had one from Tarte, one from Cali Ray, and one from Milani. I will be removing those and picking some new blushes. And then over here I had my Natasha Denona Retro Glam eyeshadow palette. This palette is also in my basket that I picked out for all of my spring palettes. So this is actually going to be staying in my monthly rotation, but I'm not going to be focusing exclusively on this eyeshadow palette because I have a whole basket filled with spring palettes that I'm going to be using. So I am going to be leaving it in, but there's going to be a lot of other palettes along with it. So it's not going to be like a focus palette for me. Okay, so that is the recap. So now let's quickly move on to picking out some new products. I have you zoomed out a little bit here so you can see everything in this drawer, and now I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer to these first 4 little sections right here. Okay, I have my primers here, so we're going to start with my primers, and I think I might actually use one of my Say Glowy Super Gels. I have 3 different shades. I have Rose Glow, Warm Glow, and Sun Glow. It's interesting that I don't have Star Glow, considering Star Glow is my favorite shade, but I just haven't purchased another one because I kept getting these. But you know what? I think I might go for Warm Glow because this one is a lot newer to me. And this one was at one point a limited edition shade that they had in I think it might have been a holiday set at one time, but they brought this shade back and I think I've only used it maybe a few times since I picked it up in the mini size. So let's go ahead and include this one. Okay, and then right next to that I have my correctors and concealers. For correctors, I want to use the other shade of my Cali Ray Hideaway corrector, and find it. I believe it's all the way under here. I can see the cap. There we go. Okay, I have this one in the shade Cool Sunrise. The other shade I have is Pale Sun, which is my favorite shade because that one matches me perfectly. But I do like this one as well. This one is a little bit better at covering darkness than the other shade is because this one has a little bit more depth to it. So I do enjoy this shade too, but Pale Sun is my favorite. This is my favorite all-time corrector, and I need some more use out of this shade, so we're going to be including this one. As for my concealer, I was kind of looking at my collection the other day and I realized that one of the concealers that I haven't gotten a lot of use out of is this one right here from Win Beauty. This one is I think they call this the Soft Matte Concealer, and mine's in the shade Make 15, which I believe this shade was always a little bit too light for me, so I want to get some good use out of it this month, really use it, and see if it's one that I actually want to kind of keep in my collection because I've only used it maybe a handful of times and I just want to give it more of a chance. So we're going to be including this one for my concealer. Okay, and then we're going to move to where I keep my foundations, and then this little container here is where I keep my brow products. Now, I am keeping my Laura Geller brow pencil in my everyday makeup drawer until I can get an empty on that because I really want to get that out of my collection. So the only thing I need to pick is a gel, and I think I'm going to pick this one right here from CoverGirl. This is their Clean Fresh Brow Enhancer Gel Wax. This is just basically like a clear brow gel. And this one's pretty decent. I do like it. I think it does a good job. Does it hold as strongly as some of my other brow gels? No, but it gives a pretty decent hold. If you're not really looking for that strong super glue hold, then you might actually appreciate this. So I'm going to be including this one. All right, for foundations, I've been using a lot of my high-end foundations. In fact, the last time I had the Ilia foundation in that drawer, and as I had mentioned previously, that shade just looked a little bit too deep for me, and I've been using that as kind of like an SPF for my chest. I love to walk every single day, and I walk in like a tank top, so I like to put an SPF on like my shoulders and my chest area especially. So I've just been using it for that just so I can kind of work it out of my collection that way. So that one is not going to be in my active collection anymore. So one that I want to get some more good use on that I used to really enjoy is this one right here. This is from CoverGirl. This is their Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. Mine's in the shade Fair. This is the one that has all those little pigment beads in it that you have to really break up with like your hands. This is one that you really have to apply with your hands, or at least in my experience, you definitely do. And also for me, I noticed that the smaller amount you use, the better. On me personally, I find that if I use too much of it, it can kind of look cakey on my skin and it doesn't look flattering at all. But if I use maybe like 1 pump or maybe 1.5, I find that it looks the best that way. So I'm going to be including this one this time and get some more good use out of this product. Okay, now in the back here we have all of my powders, and then I have bronzers back in here. So for my powders, I want to get a pressed and a loose powder. So I think for my loose powder, I'm going to go with this one right here from One Size. This is a little teeny sample size of the Ultra Pink shade, and this is definitely a very super pink powder. If you want really intense pink, then you would love this. I find that if I use like a brush and a smaller amount of it, then it's not too bad on my skin tone, but this is one that I can definitely only wear like under my eyes where it meets up with my blush, but I definitely would love to get an empty on this little teeny mini size, so I'm going to be including this one for my loose powder. And for my pressed, I think I'm going with this one right here from Rare Beauty. Now this one is just a finishing powder, and this one is in the shade Porcelain. I remember, oops, forgot I had that little plastic thing in there. I thought it was cute that it says you are rare, so I kept it in there. I know that this is a finishing powder, so it doesn't really do too much on its own, but I feel like maybe I can kind of get some more use out of it. I've only used it a handful of times, and I quite recently got an empty on the Rare Beauty loose powder, so I'd like to start getting some more use on this one too. I don't think it was bad at all, but it's definitely a touch-up powder, so you're not going to get a lot from it, but let's just try it out, and if I have to, I will pull another pressed powder to kind of go along with it, but we're going to use this one for the most part. Okay, as for bronzers back there, I already know exactly which bronzer I want to pick because they brought it back and I am so excited. This is one of my all-time favorite bronzers, the one from House Labs. This is the Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer. Now, they changed the shades as far as the names and stuff, and I think there's fewer shades now. There used to be like, what, 12 shades? I think now there's only like 8 or 9. I might be wrong, but they're not called, see, this one was called Light Level 1. They're not called that now, but I believe they said that the formula and everything is still the same, so I'm not sure. I don't have the new one. I'm not going to be picking up the new one anytime soon because I do have this one, but this is one of my most favorite powder bronzers ever, and I was so sad when I thought they were discontinuing it, so I'm so happy to see it come back. Once I hit, maybe if I hit pan on this, I will purchase the newest shade that they have that would replace Light Level 1, but I always love this stuff, and as you can see, I've worn the H away completely. That letter H is raised up in the pan, and I've worn that away completely. This is such a beautiful bronzer, and this shade was always perfect for my skin tone, so I'm hoping that the new shade that replaced this one is just as good, but since they brought it back, I'm going to be definitely using this one a lot more. I kind of stopped using it on camera because I felt bad that you couldn't get it anymore, but it is a good one, and I'm glad to see it come back. Okay, I don't keep it in here, but I'm only bringing it up because I have one highlighter back there, so I'm going to mention highlighter here. I am going to be using my Tower 28 Super Dew highlighter, which is just a clear balm. I don't keep any of my Tower 28 products with the rest of my makeup. They have their own makeup bag, so I am going to be including that one as well for highlighter. So that's everything in this top drawer, so we're going to move on now to the bottom drawer. Okay, here's where I keep all of my lip products. So we're going to start right here where I keep all of my lip liners. And let's see, I need to pick some lip liners that I have not used in a while. I just want to get some good use out of all of my lip liners, not just like a few, because I do constantly want to reach for either my Tower 28 ones or even the ones like right here from e.l.f. Cosmetics. I find myself wanting to reach for them a lot. I need to use some other ones, so let me see what I have here. Okay, I have a few from Joah, which is brands sold at CVS. I don't believe they have lip liners anymore. I think they discontinued them, but I still have some in my collection from a long time ago when the brand kind of first launched, so maybe I can use a couple of shades of those. Let me pull some of these out and look at the shades, and then I will show you some swatches. Okay, I found 3 lip liners that I want to get some good use out of. I have not used the 3 of these in a long time, so let me swatch them all for you. The first one here is from Fenty Beauty. This one is their Traced Out lip liner, and this one is in the shade Peanut Butter. I think I need to sharpen this one, so I'm hoping I can get, oh, okay, yeah, good. I can get a good swatch out of that. I thought that would be like a really pretty, more brown nude lip liner option. Then I have one of the Joah Beauty Lip Candy Auto Lip Liner. This one's in the shade Rose. Unfortunately, you can't get these anymore. Okay, and that is the shade Rose. I thought that would be a really beautiful, more pinky option. I believe when I looked the last time, they did not sell lip liners at all, like not these, but not even anything to replace them. But I will of course be looking again when I'm getting links for this video and double check, but I don't believe you can get the lip liners from this company anymore. But you definitely don't need any of this makeup that I'm talking about. This is just me trying to use up the products that are in my collection. The next one we have is also from Joah, and this one is in the shade Pink Nude. This one was always my favorite out of all the ones I had from Joah because, well, I mean, you can kind of look at that and see why, but I think all 3 of these are really pretty because I kind of have, this one is more of like a rosy, brighter pink, then we have a brown nude, and then this one is kind of like a more neutral pink, so I think these 3 are perfect, so I'm going to be including all 3 of these. Okay, the next little container over are all of like my liquid lipsticks. I don't really want to wear a liquid lipstick right now. I'm just not, that's not really what I'm looking for during this time. So I'm going to skip over and we're going to go to this next little section right here, which has like a lot of my lip oils, and I think I might have a lip plumper in there from NYX, which is the one I think I might be going to use. Yeah, which is this one right here. This is one of the NYX Duck Plump glosses, and this one is in the shade Bangin' Bear. Now, I'm not going to swatch this on my hand because this is a plumper and I don't want it to sting my hand like my skin, but it's just a really pretty nude shade. These do definitely sting, at least from what I remember. Of course, I'll be giving it another chance when I'm putting a lot of these products to the test in the more get ready with me portion of this video, so I will be sure to apply it then so you can see the shade, but I just don't really want to swatch this on my skin. But I'm going to be including this one. This is going to be kind of like maybe a good lip prep step, so let's include that one. Okay, and then over here in this last little container, I have a lot of my more lip balms, and kind of right there laying down, like you can see them right there. Those are those little clicky pins from e.l.f. I just kind of, they're like lip balms as well, so I just include them all together. So I think a good match with this Fenty lip liner is I have one of the Gloss Bomb sticks, which is right here. This one's in the shade Sorta Selfish, and I thought it would be a pretty good match. Oh yeah, that'd be a perfect match for that more brown leaning lip liner. So yeah, I'm going to be definitely including this one. Okay, and then the container here and right here are all of my bullet lipsticks. So let me see, I need some that kind of matches these two right here. So let me have a couple of looks at some of these and see what I can find that might match these lip liners. Okay, I think this one from Charlotte Tilbury, this is one of her Matte Revolution lipsticks. This one's in the shade Pillow Talk. I think this might be a good option for this one right here. Well, if it will focus, you'll be able to see it. Oh yeah, I think that's a perfect option. Those go so well together, like they were made for each other. So yeah, okay, that would be that one. And I'm sorry I didn't take you along with me while I was picking out lipsticks, but honestly, if I did, we would be here all day long of me just sitting there, opening them up, looking at them, kind of comparing them. We would be there all day, so I'm just kind of moving this a little bit along. But I found this one from Milani. This is one of their Color Fetish matte lipsticks, and this one is in the shade Petal. And this one is a really good option for this lip liner right here in the middle. As you can see, I think these are like perfect matches for these lip liners. I am so happy that I actually have lipstick shades that match these, I mean like perfectly. So these are going to be like my more lipstick lip liner kind of combos. Even though this one's technically a gloss, like a lip gloss but in a stick, but it still works as a lipstick. That's the way I wear it. So, okay, we're going to be picking all of these. And then over here is where I keep all of my lip glosses except for my Tower 28 ones. Like I said, Tower 28 has their own makeup bag. So I think what the ones I want to pick are my 3 shades from Lights Lacquer. I really love these. They're called Jelly Bomb Lip Lacquers and they are so good. They smell amazing, so let me grab those right quick. Okay, here are these 3 shades right here. You can definitely see that I go through Miss Honey like a little bit more than the other 2. I love all 3, but I do love Miss Honey. So we have Miss Honey, That's Esspensive, and Alyssa. So let me swatch these for you right quick. Okay, so here we have Miss Honey. It's just like a really beautiful soft nude shade, and these smell like almost like a vanilla cupcake kind of thing. They smell so good. Then we have the shade Alyssa, which is like a really pretty, more pinky tone gloss. And then the last shade is Das Esspensive, which is like a kind of clear gloss, but it's got these really pretty sparkly flecks in it, and it's so stunning. So I think all of these will pair really beautifully together. So I'm happy with these. So that's everything for my lip products. Okay, and then for blush and for eyeshadow, I already kind of have my options picked out. I already knew, but right quick, I just wanted to show you, since I had to open my Tower 28 bag anyway, this is the Super Dew. It's just a really beautiful clear highlighting balm, which I've been using this every single day since I picked it up. I'm not even a highlighter person. I've mentioned that many times. I don't want a highlighter with pigment. It's just not for me. I like a balm like this. It doesn't add any kind of tint to my skin. It just gives you that glowy look, and that's all I want. So this one is the one I'm going to be including. I love this so very much. As for my blushes, I'm going to be using my Tower 28 powder blushes. I want to focus on these for the month. These are the newest blushes to my collection, and I definitely want to get some good use out of them for this month. I have a whole video on my channel of all of these, so if you want to see them all swatched out and also swatched on my cheeks as well, then you can definitely check out that video. I have a whole review of them. These are amazing. They're so beautiful. I love them so much already. So I definitely want to get some good use out of these for this month. So these are the blushes I'm going to be focusing on. And the same with eyeshadow palettes. If you watched my video that I placed, it's been a while back now, where I talked about all of my spring eyeshadow palettes. I have them sitting right here in this little container that I got from Dollar Tree. These are the palettes that I'm just going to be using for this month, because these are all of my spring options. I just want to kind of use and bounce around between all of these here. All of them are in that video except for this one right here. This is the Nouveau palette from Anastasia. I didn't have that one in that video because I completely forgot about it being a good option for spring. So I have included that one in this basket, but I just want to get some good use out of these palettes right here. So these are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on for the month. But that's everything as far as me picking out my products. So let's go ahead and place these all back into my little acrylic drawers. Okay, now that I've picked out all of my products, let's put everything right back in. Okay, that's everything that goes back in these drawers, because like I said, I have a separate basket for my eyeshadow, which you saw in when I was picking out my new products. And then, of course, for my Tower 28 products, I keep them all in this Tower 28 makeup bag. Like, they all live in here full time, so I'm not going to be including these with these products. They have their own separate location. So that is everything. So now let's move on to putting a lot of these products to the test. I'm going to start out with some eyeshadow primer, and I'm going to first start with the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder. I'm going to use this, just a little bit of this. I find that if you use way too much of this, it bees a little too greasy on the eyes, like, you know, really oily feeling. So I try to take a small amount if possible, and just lightly apply it to my lids all the way up to the brow bone. You know, a part of me would love to try the tinted version of that, but then a part of me is thinking, no, I don't know if I would or not. I'm just taking an e.l.f. blending brush and making sure that's all spread evenly over my lid. Okay, for my primer, I'm going to take the Say Glowy Super Gel, and this one is in the shade Warm Glow. I have only, I think, applied this one maybe a few times. This is what that looks like. And I'm just going to kind of lightly tap that into my skin, because I am wearing my sunscreen and I don't want to disturb my sunscreen underneath if I can help it. I love the Say Glowy Super Gel. I have all of the shades except for Starglow, which Starglow would be my favorite. And then I like this one because, at least on me, I find that this one doesn't give me, I won't say like too much of a tint. I guess because it's kind of like matches my undertone a little bit. Also, because I've been walking every single day, I have developed a slight tan. You wouldn't know by my neck, because for some reason my neck never tans. I don't know why that is. I mean, you know, so my neck is a little bit lighter than my face and my body, even more so right now. I need to put on, I actually might take some of that, well, actually, I don't know, that CoverGirl foundation I was about to say might actually be a little bit light for me right now, because I do have a slight tan. And then for lip prep, I'm going to take this NYX Duck Plump. This one's in the shade Bangin' Bear, and I believe these are quite stingy, but I'm going to double check because it's been a while since I've applied it. I remember liking it, but now look, I really love stingy kind of plumpers. Not everybody does, but I'm kind of one of those that do. I'm just going to kind of use this as lip prep. And there you can see the shade of that. It's just a really soft kind of light pale nude, but very pretty. It's kind of a really thick formula, so I find that if you apply too much of it, it can kind of give you those lines, you know what I mean? Like when you separate your lips, how it can give you those kind of cavern looking lines, you know what I mean? It can do that, so I will say less is more with this one. Yeah, it's already starting to kind of sting a little bit. So if you don't like the stingy kind of plumping, then you definitely won't like that. Okay, for eyeshadow palette, I'm just going to pick one from my little basket here. And I think I'm going to pick this one right here from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Nouveau palette. I can't believe that I forgot to include this one in my spring palettes because this is so pretty. And what I love about this palette is I find that it's perfect for, I mean, don't get me wrong, all eyeshadow palettes are perfect for year round, but what I love about this one is that it goes from spring to summer to fall. It's the most perfect palette, I feel like, for all year round. Like if you're someone who is inspired by the seasons. So I'm going to first take that blending brush and I'm going to go into the shade Paloma. If you do not want to pay ABH prices, then I believe Alter Ego has a dupe palette for this, so if you were wanting something a little bit more affordable. I've never tried that brand, but I've always heard good things, so that is another option if you don't want to buy this one. I'm just using this shade lightly to set my eyeshadow primer. And I am really tapping off that excess before I go in because this is kind of like a very thick shade. Does that make sense? Like the powder feels incredibly thick. I don't know how best to describe that. That's the only thing I can think of. So I find that it can look a little bit cakey. So I really, really, really go in and tap off the excess with this shade. And if I do that, then it's the perfect setter shade. But if you go in a little bit too much with it, it just looks a little bit heavy and cakey on the lids. Okay, I had initially planned to use the lavender in this palette, but because I'm wearing this shirt with these orangey butterflies and my little gold butterfly earrings here, oh, and also the nails have a little butterfly wing on them too, so I love to match. I'm just that kind of person. So I want to focus more on the really warm tone shades, like more of the peachy, orangey leaning shades in this palette. So I'm going to take the shade Fleur on a Sigma E54. These shades have quite a lot of kick up in the pan, so just be mindful of that if you've never tried this eyeshadow palette but were interested in it. These shades are absolutely beautiful. And I cannot believe that I missed it when I was putting together my little spring eyeshadow palette basket here. So I'm glad that I got a chance to bring it back out and use it again. I've used it several times already and I have enjoyed every look I've created with it. I think this palette got chosen when I did my No Pen Left Behind, and that's maybe why. I think that might have been why I remembered it. I'm going to take the same shade on this side right into that crease. I really want some pretty warm shades on my lid today, especially because of my butterfly shirt. You know, it's not in my spring basket, but I do have a palette from Odin's Eye that has a bright orange in it. I could have done that too. And then I'm going back into that blending brush. There's nothing else on this brush. I'm just going around the edges of that Fleur shade. Okay, I'm going to take that same brush and I'm going to go into the shade Metro. Yeah, that is definitely a stingy. It's still stinging all this time later. So yeah, if you don't like the stingy stuff, you will not like that duck plump. Alright, and then I'm going to take this shade and really work it on this outer half of my lid. It's a very pigmented shade. Very beautiful though. So I'm going to wipe this brush off a little bit. I have my little silicone mat right here. I like to do this when I've gone in with a little bit too much. And then I can kind of blend around the edges of that a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to take that same Metro shade and we're going to go on this side, on that outer half. These are beautiful shades, and they are working so well as far as blending. Not struggling at all to blend these shades out. Which I really did with the Fall Romance palette that this brand had. Those were so hard for me to blend out. I eventually just decluttered that palette. I did not like that palette. I thought the shades were so beautiful in it, but it was so difficult to work with those shades. Whereas this palette is just really easy. Then I'm going to take the shade Lily, and I'm just going to take that on my finger. And I'm going to place that right in here in the very center of my lid. As you can kind of see, it has a little bit Hoping you can see it, like a green shift to it. It's very beautiful. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. This is a stunning eyeshadow palette. Like, these shades are so beautiful. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the shade Isle using that E54. I'm going to try to pick that up on a brush because it's a little bit harder to get in that inner corner with these nails. I'm going to apply that right in here on this most inner part of my lid. Oh, that's so pretty. This is so gorgeous. Like, I mean, I definitely should be using this palette all the time. For my under eye, I'm going to mix my Cali Ray Hideaway Corrector in the shade Cool Sunrise with that Win Beauty Concealer in the shade Make 15. I'm going to mix the two of them, especially since this Win Beauty one has always been a little bit too light for me. Like, it's one of those that would give you like the really bright under eye, which I'm not a fan of on myself. So I thought adding in that corrector would really help. Okay, and I'm just going to blend that out with my finger. I'm trying to mix them together a little bit here. Honestly, yeah, I think mixing them really helped the shade. Not into that really bright under eye, not on myself. On me, it looks like I just went outside with sunglasses on, and then so I'm not really into that bright under eye. I'd rather have a concealer that's like my skin tone shade. So yeah, mixing that together like really helped. And I love these Cali Ray correctors. They are so amazing. My favorite corrector of all time. They look really nice mixed together. I like that. I think they make a perfect tone now. Instead of being too bright, not too dark, I think that's just a perfect match. Okay, on a small angled brush from e.l.f., I'm going to take the shade Fleur, and we're going to run that all the way across my lower lash line. And then back on that Sigma E54, I'm going to go back into the shade Paloma, and I'm going to pop that right in here. This shade to me is bright enough that it will, yeah, really brighten up that inner corner, which is what I love. It's the perfect shade for that. I love a matte, bright inner corner. I think that's just so pretty. Something like that. I think that's so stunning. This eye look is stunning. Okay, I'm just going to go apply my mascara right quick off camera. I think, okay, I'm looking over here at my acrylic drawers. I think I might go in with the Tarte like Lights Camera Lashes one, and I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. You know, I think the more I use of that Tarte mascara, like the older it gets, the more age it gets on it, I like it a lot better. When I first used it, I wasn't that crazy about it, but yeah, the more it ages, the better it looks, because I think that looks pretty good. This is the Lights Camera Lashes mascara from Tarte. Okay, I need to go in with this CoverGirl. I have to apply this with my hands, so I'm going to take my rings off right quick. I am not a fan of applying foundations with my hands. There's nothing wrong with it. It's messy. Okay, I'm taking one pump. Kind of squirt it out of there a little bit, but I'm just going to take one pump. I'm just gonna rub that on my skin. My skin is just so sensitive. I hate rubbing products into it like this. You can see just how red it's getting. I don't even know if I used enough. Did I even use enough? But honestly, I feel like this is something that it can go on kind of cakey if you're not careful. Well, I mean, from what I'm seeing in my mirror here, it looks fine. Of course, I never had any issues with it. It's only if I applied too much of it. Like, I found that if I went in with 2 pumps, it looked kind of cakey on my skin. It doesn't look bad. You know, it used to be kind of a favorite of mine, but I don't know if it's really that much of a favorite now. I feel like I've tried a lot more foundations since I've tried this one, and I like them a little bit better. I don't think it looks bad, though. I think it's pretty on the skin as long as you're using more of a lighter amount of it. I don't think it looks bad, and it's right up my alley as far as being really lightweight. Like, I don't even feel it on my skin, and I think that's what I always loved about it. So yeah, I mean, it does look pretty. I think me applying it with my hands throws me off because I'm not a fan of that for myself. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I used to do that all the time in high school, but now I just rather use like a brush or a sponge. But I think it looks pretty. Like once you really blend it in and work it into your skin, it looks really pretty. Okay, before I go in with any powder, I'm going to first apply my Tower 28 Super Dew. I'm just going to take this on my finger. I just took a little bit on this one, and then I'm going to place it between both. We're going to go in like this right here. Just kind of tapping it over in with my finger. I love this stuff, and I don't even like highlighter. Well, I shouldn't say I don't like it. I think it's pretty, but it's just not a step that I'm crazy about. Like if someone said I had to cut out a step of makeup, what would it be? It would be highlighter. I don't normally wear it, but this I really love because it's just glow, all glow, no pigment, and that's what I like. No sparkles, no blue, green, purple, pink shift, just simple glow. Okay, I'm going to try to use this Rare Beauty powder because the pink powder just is not going to go with this kind of eye. That pink powder is very noticeable on me. So I'm just going to try it. I'm going to take that on this Real Techniques Brightening Concealer brush. And we're just going to apply it like right in here. It's a very lightweight powder. Of course, this is a finishing powder. It's not like a really heavy duty setting powder. Of course, I find that I don't always need that, but so something like this is a good option to have, I suppose. The next steps I'm going in with are powder, so I wanted to go ahead and set everything. Run that through the brows too so they don't feel like sticky or tacky from like the products underneath. Yeah, like it doesn't look like anything on your skin. I mean that in a good way. Like I don't mean like it's not doing anything. I just mean like it just looks really lightweight, which I appreciate. Now on really super glowy days, I don't know if this would be enough, but just for something like what I'm wearing today, I think it's perfect. Okay, we're going to take the Haus Labs bronzer. Now, like I said, this is light level 1, but they're not called that anymore. They actually have shade names now. I'm going to take that on a Flawless Face Brush from e.l.f. I was so thrilled to see these come back because this is one of the most beautiful bronzers I have in my collection as far as powder goes. And I'm so happy that you can now purchase it again. I definitely want to pick up the new shade that would be replacing this one, but I think that I'm going to hold off and wait until I can at least hit pan on this. I think that would be a good goal. Hit pan on this one and then you can buy the new shade just to kind of compare them. Because I'd like to compare, I don't want to like use this one up completely before I had a chance to compare them, you know, so that's why I don't really want to use this one up completely before I purchase the new one. I mean, not like I'm going to be finishing this up anytime soon. And with the amount of bronzers I have, that is a huge dream. That would be like a long shot dream to finish this bronzer. But I definitely want to compare it to the new shade that replaces it. But I think that this shade has always been the most perfect tone. It's not too much. It's not overpowering. It's a perfect undertone. It doesn't look orangey, which I find that some fair skin bronzers look so orange. And I find that this one doesn't. This is one of the few that looks like an actually really pretty shade. So if I can hit pan, then I'm going to reward myself and purchase the newest shade that would replace this one, just so I can compare them. Because this is a beautiful bronzer, and I'm so happy that it's been brought back. Okay, I'm going to wipe that brush off on that little silicone mat. I'm just going to use the same brush for my blush. Should I go ahead and do my brows? Actually, no. Let me do my blush and then I'll do the brows afterwards. Okay, I'm going to take one of the Get Set blushes from Tower 28. This one's in the shade Culvert Crush. I thought it would be really beautiful with this eye look. These are pigmented. You do not need a lot. I mean, as you can see. These are such beautiful blushes. That's why I wanted to really include them. I'm kind of wiping some of that off on my arm here a little bit. That's why I wanted to include them for this month because they are the newest blushes to my collection and I just want to get some good use out of all of the shades for this month. I'm so tempted. My birthday is in May. It's right there at the beginning of the month, actually, May 3rd. And I am so tempted for my everyday makeup drawer video for that month to be all Tower 28 because it's my favorite brand. Of course, I'll have to fill in like brows and eyeshadow because they don't have either of those, not yet. I'm so tempted to do that for my birthday month because I just love this brand that much. That is so pretty. I mean, I don't know how entertaining a video like that would be though if I did like my everyday makeup drawer video and just talked about them. I don't know if people would be really interested in that, but it would be kind of like a collection video. Kind of like when you see people show like their eyeshadow palettes in their collection or their blushes or lip products or whatever the case may be. It would be like a collection video, like me showing my Tower 28 collection and then of course picking a palette and the brows, which I already know. I already know what brow products I'd pick and the eyeshadow palettes I would pick. I'd pick 2 of them. I already know what they would be. I just feel like for your birthday month, you want to use your favorites. So stunning with this eye look. I wanted to wear the lavender, but I just felt like when I picked out this shirt with the butterflies and then the gold butterflies here, I wanted to do something really warm toned. That's so pretty. Okay, I'm going to go in with my brow products now. I'm going to first use my Laura Geller Sculpt and Stay Brow Pencil. It's in dark brown. I am going to keep this product in my everyday makeup drawer until I can finish it completely, and I don't feel like I have much left. Let me see here. Yeah, that's all I have left. I feel like if I maybe use this every single day for this month, I could possibly get an empty on it. I think it's an amazing brow pencil. I just wish that it was sold separately from the gel. I don't like the gel on the other side. I find that it just doesn't do anything for my brows, at least not as far as the hold that I'm looking for. Now, if you just want a very casual brow gel, you might really enjoy that. But the pencil is amazing. I love the pencil side. I wish that it was sold separately because I hate wasting the gel, but I don't like it. I find that it just doesn't really do anything for me. But this shade is perfect. Like if you have a brow hair color similar to mine, this shade is perfect. But always, always, always buy Laura Geller on a discount. Never pay full price for her products. Her website always has sales on. I think now you can buy her products from Ulta. I wouldn't, because her website has way better deals because the products are full price on Ulta, and I wouldn't do that. Go straight to her website. You can get amazing discounts year round. Of course, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to purchase her products from Ulta, that's fine. But I meant if you just wanted to save some money, like her website has the better deals. Unless maybe you're using like your Ulta points or something, then maybe. But other than that, I would just go straight to her website. And then I'm just going to use this CoverGirl Brow Gel. The more I use this brow gel, the more I also like it. I find that it's a really good one. I don't know if I'd actually repurchase it, but I don't think it's a bad brow product if it was something you were interested in. Okay, for my lip pencil, I'm going to take this Fenty Beauty lip pencil in the shade Peanut Butter. And I'm going to line my lips with this. You know what? Let me completely sharpen this because, yeah, it needs sharpening. Alright, now I can get back to lining it now that I've sharpened it. And then I'm going to fill in the top and blot down. And then over the top of that, I'm going to take this Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb stick, and this one is in the shade Sorta Selfish. Okay, so there we have this completed look. I think it looks really pretty. I love these more warmy tones, but you know, with that lip, it kind of makes this look a little bit more brown instead of like more of the peachy orange. I feel like the lip almost, I don't know, like looking at the lip and then looking at the eyes, it makes this look a little bit more brown, which, hey, I like that. I have nothing against that whatsoever. I do like this look. I like, you know, all of these products work really beautifully together. I think I was a little too harsh on the foundation. I think it looks really pretty. I just know if that's something that you'd want if you're looking to purchase it, because you do have to apply it with your hands. I've tried it in the past with a brush. Well, definitely, a sponge definitely won't work. And I just feel like your hands is the best application, and using a small amount of it, I find that on me, when I apply too much of it, it's a little too heavy. But other than that, it looks really pretty on the skin. It's not It used to be one that would be my favorite, but I just feel like as time goes on and I try other things and new things, it's definitely not really a top favorite anymore, but I don't think it's a bad product by any means. I think it looks really pretty on the skin, but yeah, I do really like this look. I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you are alerted to all my future uploads. All of these products will be listed and linked for you below. They are affiliate links, so if you click through and purchase, I do earn a small commission, and if you choose to do so, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!